Hi, this is Sandy with a little bit of glitter, and I am still in the Valentine mood. I am certainly enjoying Pretty Pink Posh's Valentine release. I made a card a couple days ago using the XOXO heart border, and I put it at the bottom of the card. Today's card is going to have that same border, but I'm putting it in the body of the card. I really like the way this turned out. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you would like to be notified of future videos. You can also follow me on Instagram at Sandy Cogdill or on my blog alittlebitofglitter.com. Let's get started. I'm using a piece of white cardstock cut to 5x6. I'm also going to be using the new layered heart lattice stencil. The first layer I'm doing is going to be with Kitsch Flamingo Distress Oxide ink. And then the second layer will be with Prized Ribbon Distressed Oxide. I like to tape down my stencils using washi tape. I have tons of washi tape. I will never use all of that washi tape in a card, so I am utilizing that for that purpose. Once I get done stenciling both of those layers, I will water down the dye in both colors and speckle the cardstock. I think that helps cut down on the harshness of the white cardstock, and it does give it a little bit more dimension. One of the reasons why I really like the stencils from Pretty Pink Posh is that they have ABCs in the bottom corner, and so if you just follow those in order and continually put them in the right corner, I use the right lower corner, your stencils will always line up just perfectly. So that's really helpful when you've got something that's very exact like the lattice on this particular stencil. For the base of my card, I'm going to be cutting a piece of cardstock 5.5 by 6 5/8. I'm still going to score it 4 1/4 inches from one end because it's still going to be the same size card in the long run. It's just the front is going to be cut a little bit different. I'm also going to be cutting a piece of cardstock that's just about 1 inch. It's a skosh smaller or shorter than 1 inch by 5.5 to cover up the acetate. The piece of paper that I've stenciled, I've used a die with a decorative edge to cut that out to the standard 5.5 by 4 1/4. I'm going to cut that piece of paper so I can fit in my window. So from the top coming down, I'm going to cut it to, it's going to be 5.5 by 2 3/8. So the 2 3/8 is going to be from the top down. And then I'm going to cut it 5.5 by 1. So you're going to cut it 1 inch up from the decorative edge. I'm going to place strong glue tape on the cut edges of my stenciled cardstock. Then I'm going to glue on my acetate strip, which has been cut to 5.5 inches by 1 1/4. I'm going to place that strip on the bottom edge of the stenciled cardstock, 1/4 inch, just right along the edge of that tape, so that you still have 1.25 inches showing above the cardstock. Then I'm going to center and glue my border on that acetate so that it's adhered now to that little window opening. Then I'm going to peel off the tape from the top part of the stenciled cardstock and place that on top of the acetate window so that it's tight up against the top part of the border. Make sure when you're lining up that outside, when you're lining up the two pieces of card to the window, that you're lining up that outside edge straight so that you've got a nice straight edge on the outside of your card, that you're not kind of cattywampus on that. Then you're going to take the little strip of the cardstock, go ahead and glue that down to cover up that kind of ugly glue strip that's at the very bottom of the card. And then you'll adhere the top part of your stenciled cardstock to the top part of the regular cardstock. I've used that same die to cut out some hearts out of a complimentary pink cardstock to glue on top of the hearts on that border. It's just very subtle, but it really makes a big difference, I think, in just adding a little bit of interest and originality to your card. Now it's time to color. I have stamped all of the chocolates from the Sweet Chocolate stamp set. I wanted all of my candy pieces to be chocolate, so I am using a lot of browns. Using Copic markers, I like to use Express It blending card for my Copic coloring. I've used it for years. It's the easiest for me to do blending on. That's just what I prefer. The colors that I'm using are, as far as the reds, they are R24, R29, R83, and R85. I am using an RV06. That's kind of that brighter pink, I think. Then for the browns, I am using E11, E13, E15, E31, E33, E35, E23, E25, E27, and E29. E29 is that really rich dark brown, that real dark chocolate color. After I got done coloring all of those, I did use a white gel pen to highlight them instead of using glitter for this card. I am dangerous with glitter. I tend to overdo it usually, especially with a bottle of Stickles. So this time we're just sticking with the white gel pen. I adhered some hearts that I cut from my cardstock that I used on the base of the card from the new hardcover plate die on the upper part of the card. It needed some more color and a little bit more interest. It felt like the little chocolates were just getting lost on that background. So the little hearts from that die worked just perfectly. I sprinkled them across the card just on that upper part. I used some foam dots to pop up the little chocolates on my card. I also heat embossed the sentiment, which I used from that stamp set. I didn't need to go into anything else. That one worked just perfectly. I'm not sure what brand that heat embossing powder was or what color it is. It was just in my stash of embossing powders, but I was just thrilled that it matched my cardstock perfectly. Once I got my cinnamon and my chocolates glued on, I realized that it just needed a little bit more. So I went back to my stamp set and I stamped out a bunch of the double hearts and the single hearts, colored them in with the same Copic markers that I used on everything else, and then went ahead and cut those out and popped them up also on the little pop dots, the foam dots, and adhered those to the card. And that just filled it in. It just gave it just enough. Okay, that should do it for this card. I think it turned out just delightful, and I hope you think so too. If you'd like to be notified of future videos, just go ahead and hit subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram at Sandy Cogdill or on my blog, alittlebitofglitter.com. Thanks for stopping by. Have a great day, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.